Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another video reflection. Today, I would like to explain what I mean when I say that I aspire to be nobody and how this is linked to Homer's Odyssey and especially the episode in which Odysseus encountered the giant Polyphemus. So, my whole theory for this video, for this idea, is this: we live in a world where success and ambition has been predetermined by others, and nobody gives much thought about what those two words means individually for each one of us. And my theory is that being a nobody, embrace the fact that we are nobody, is the only way we have to slow down and questioning what we are doing and why we want to achieve that thing in the first place. And to question is always a threat to the current ideology in charge, and it is the only way to slow down and redefine what those words means to us, which might make you look lazy at the for others, but is the most ambitious thing that you can do. And this is the whole theory of the video, and I will explain step by step what I mean by that here. So of course, as always, I base my whole YouTube channel on essays I write longhand first, and then I share it with you on video, like if I was, talking to you in a video call, or at least this is the spirit. And the and I would like to jump straight into it. So think about Odysseus. So in the episode with Polyphemus, we saw that Odysseus arrives at the on this island, and he sees there is some cheese and wine in a cave, and he expects to be granted guest rights, and so he leads his crew right straight into the, the cyclop um, cave, expecting to be, to be gifted and to be treated well as a guest. And so, unfortunately, it turns out that when the giant came back, he not only doesn't granted them guest right, but also picks randomly two of Odysseus' crew, smash them on the floor, and eats them alive. Um, what I how I see this is an analogy of our modern condition, um, with our modern relationship with success and being ambitious, especially for young people. So we are like Odysseus. We want to, we expect something good to happen. Uh, we move towards the cave with the goal of, finding our way, to become somebody, to make it out of life, to be someone, to do something remarkable with our life, right? To find happiness eventually, if you will. And we expect, um, the big giant called success to granted us with guest rights and to give a little piece of his glory to us, right? um but eventually it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. And what i what I think is that, as for the story, what we should do maybe, is to just embrace the discomfort of not knowing what we're doing, embrace the discomfort of being a nobody, and as for as Odysseus did in the story, introduce ourselves as nobodies, not as a way to put ourselves down or to be contrarian for contrarian's sake. Meaning everybody wants to be somebody, so I will therefore be a nobody and live on the street and something like that just for contrarian's sake. I'm not talking about that, but I'm not even talking about you know a reframe just to slow down, clean your room, and go back in the meat grinder and be more productive than ever. Okay, so I don't not talking about this either. What I wanted to say is that by embracing the discomfort of not knowing what we're doing, um, we we can actually trick the giant and escape and be free, because the only way out is for us to redefine what it means to be somebody, what it means for us individually to be successful, to be ambitious. But the problem here is that nobody gives much thought about it, because every those words that have a universal kind of meaning, which is really like not clear, but we all intuitively know what that is, and and we just go for it. We just go with it. And so one question that it really it really bothered me for a long time was like, if we know that the cyclop is gonna end up eating us alive and it won't make us happy, and success is just it, it is basically comes down to nothing. If we know the nothingness of success, why do we pursue it anyway? Why why do we pursue it anyway? And how can a 20 something years old with no experience, looking at this big mountain that promise you, you know, uh, a breathtaking view at the top, and just say, okay, it's not for me. I won't climb it. How can someone like 20 something years old just, you know, stop himself from for climbing the mountain and realize this is the wrong one before having spent years climbing it, right? And so I would like to answer to those questions today. The first one is, of course, that um, it won't make you happy. It's called arrival fallacy, right? Which is like a fancy way to say, dude, it won't make you happy. And but so why we pursue it anyway? And I think the reason is like there are two main reasons. The first one is our current ideology, which is a capitalistic ideology that tells us an unspoken kind of narrative, which is, to justify your existence, you have to do something with your life. Doing nothing is not an option, right? You have to achieve something, you have to become something, you have to do more, be more productive, and um, never do something for its own sake, and so on and so forth. Um, and who doesn't do that? If you like, who doesn't do that shall be considered lazy. sloth, you know, shame on him, and so on. Which, of course, this is something we try to avoid with all our being. And the second reason is social media. You guess it right, which is basically a reinforcement of the initial narrative from our ideology. Is like is like, look, this is the story you have to believe, right? You have to be someone to achieve stuff and everything. These are the proofs that this works. Okay, look how flashy that is. Look how beautiful these fancy cars are. Look how cool these people are on social media, how cool their life is. Don't you want to be like that too? This is what basically social media does. And so this creates something that is really, really convenient for our capitalistic society, which is making us one against one another and compete. So everyone wants to be in the top 1%. Everyone wants to have this kind of default success, that they never question once in their life. Me, me too. And and be in the top 1%. They want to be influencers, golden medalists, NBA players, or New York Times bestsellers, or whatever that is um, that is considered value by the current ideology, that is considered like worth pursuing from the people around you, for your friends, parents, the society, whatever. And we all want to be in the top 1%, which by definition will leave loads of us, 99% of us, really disappointed if that is what we want. And but along the way, before the magical disappointment, capital will be created. you know um, People will produce more and be more and do more, and this is good for our economy, and this is what capitalism wants. And so you can think back about the story of Odysseus, and you can think Odysseus like us, like a, a young man that thinks we always being that he will be right, okay, just entering in the cave, and and then of course ended up stuck. And you can think about Polyphemus, the cyclop, as success itself, or ambition itself, or whatever you like. You can think about Polyphemus ships as as all the rest of the world, which is following unquestionably success, which is following that default definition of success. And so we just think, oh, okay, you know we we can be like one of them. If everybody thinks this is the right way, I guess is the right way, right? um and you see here the paradox of trying to be in the 1%, but then like follow what everybody else does. So it's like kind of something is really wrong there. um so if we know all this intuitively, why do we pursue it anyway? why why do we do that, right? um in my own experience, we do that because it is better than nothing. In my own experience, it is, at least it's something. At least I can, you know hide my insecurity behind a flashy career. um behind my busyness, with behind my ambition, my projects, my, my plans and stuff, and I can have an easy to explain ambition to my parents, to my loved ones, to people around me, so that they can go, oh my god, he knows his stuff, one day he will arrive, I know that, blah blah blah, like kind of like a movie kind of thing. Movie also reinforced this ideology, by the way. And so it is better than nothing is is a way is a way to repress our insecurities and just go and do something, because after all, there is no time. There is no time. You have to go, 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 live out every day as if it was the last one, and so on. Again, really convenient for the capitalistic ideology. And so, even if, and this is really interesting, even if we think we're pivoting, we're doing something unconventional, we risk to end it up, doing some default version of that. Again, for the same reason. Again, because to say, it's easier to say, it's harder to say, Dad, Mom, I want to be a writer, right? It's easier to say, Dad, Mom, I will be New York Times bestseller one day, right? Do you know what I mean? Like we kind of cover whatever it is that we maybe actually wants to do it with some layer of prestige, or like, you know prestige, success, something easily explainable to others, and because it's really convenient, because it's really is better than say, I'm broke, right? I have a shitty job, and I write on the side, and I don't know if I will ever do something with it, right? And it's even and is better than say, I just enjoy this, and just enjoy writing, painting, whatever that is. I have no ambition whatsoever to do anything with it, because it will make it a product. It will make it will change it in a way. And this, it makes me think about a quote from Paul Graham, that said that prestige is a powerful magnet that warps even what you like, and it causes you to work not on what you like, but on what you would like to like. And this is exactly it, right? To make ourselves look confident, and ambition and all that, we warp whatever that is that we have in mind, and we give it like a cloth of prestige and glittering, like shiny, um, uh, cover, to hide the fact that we have no idea if it's gonna work, or it may be hiding the fact that we didn't even care. Maybe we don't care about the fact it's gonna work because we don't want it to work. We want it just to be, just to do the thing for its own sake, which is not good for our capitalistic society and the creation of capital. And so, what I thought is that maybe the only way out from Polyphemus' cave is to follow Odysseus' advice, Odysseus' example, um, which is, you know, try to soothe the giant, told to him, introduce yourself as nobody, right? Make him drunk, and then poke his eye with a wooden stick and escape, run, break free. And why the nobody's party is really important. Again, not as a way to say, oh, I will pretend to be nobody so that I can be somebody, which is kind of the mistake that Odysseus does at the end of the story when he turns his back and says his name. Um, but it's more like a way to say, to begin to question what is that we were doing in the first place. And the only way to begin to questioning what we are doing is to stop for a second, is to slow down, to look around and just say, why are everybody is doing this? Is that what I want to do? And what if I don't want to do? What if I really want to just live a simple life and have no ambition whatsoever? And I think that those kind of questions are a tacit act of rebellion, and let me say even a strong one, because they are always a threat to the current ideology, to the system, if you want. Once you start to question your reality, you become a, a pariah, a problem, an outsider, and everybody start to be, to address you as weird or unconventional, whatever. And this is exactly the point. It opens you another way, which is full of a way full of uncertainty and discomfort and whatever, but at least it's your way. And so again, is not to say, it's not a self-helpy kind of way to say, clean up your room and get out of the couch and do something that nobody else is doing. But it's more to say, just ask yourself some questions, because those is a that is an act of rebellion in itself. and and it's by doing that you might start to be considered lazy, sloth, or whatever, by taking your time just to do nothing, just to do stuff that are considered nothing by the current ideology. um like taking a sabbatical, or go for a walk, or you know um like reading a book for the sake of it, all this kind of stuff. And people might look at you and will like go like, are you not being productive today? What you did with your day today, right? This is the tyranny of the perfect day, right? It's like, what have you done today? Like, if you just read your book and what, and cook your meal and went for a walk with your dog, like what you did today, like you're you're 30, 40, 50 years old, how you dare you, right? But my theory is that by really embrace the discomfort, you will start to do embracing discomfort of being nobody and do nothing. You will start to do stuff that it might really mean something to you, and you will might begin to question why you were doing other stuff in the first place. And and yeah, and this is the most ambitious thing that I think we can do. So I rethink about the question about the kid looking at the mountain and say like, how can he possibly without the experience say this is not my way? um, because he's pulled towards climbing it for ambitious sake. But what if being ambitious is precisely, you know, to question the mountain in the first place? What if, you know, embracing all the discomfort and uncertainty that you know, asking yourself the question in the first place will eventually bring? What if going all through all that to understand your own personal truth is in itself the most ambitious thing that you can do? You know, what if that is enough? And that's why I aspire to be a nobody. um, I aspire to escape the giant called success, escape from his cave, and just, you know, break free, and knowing that whatever will come next, which I have no idea what that would be, it will be on my own terms. It will be on my own terms. um yeah, this is basically what my essay was all about. I also transcribed this essay on a Substack post if you're interested to read it. And yeah, that's it. See you next week in the next video reflection. Thank you for watching.